There we are. Good afternoon, Jan.
Michael, good afternoon. Well,
Excellent.
the 5 minutes missing. The
Yeah.
5 minutes. Oh, I clicked the wrong button. Where's my Zoom window now?
Oh
Uh,
yeah, Zoom.
where
Have you
is?
started it?
Okay. It's here. I find it. I've been rearranging my screens to to be there. No, I was programming a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
trying to program on DWS.
Nice.
Then I say, okay, 5 minutes, but I think it's more than 5 minutes that I miss. Um, let me show you what I
Yeah.
was trying
What
to
have you been
do.
able to accomplish in 5 minutes?
No, I worked more than 5 minutes,
Okay.
but I missed 5 minutes. Um, wait. Let me show you first. So we do that with we will share that with Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Share. Can I not? Yeah, I can share. Wait. If I share the screen, it will be too big. Just share. Yeah, let's do it by application then. And we could click on. Could we? Was that in Zoom that we could say better quality?
No, that was Discord.
Okay. Right. Just let me show you. That's still too big, perhaps. Is it, or is it
I'm not yet seeing it. Why am I not seeing it?
on Zoom?
Yeah, I am started on Zoom. Um, yeah, I see
Yeah, it is.
you there.
My side, it says it's sharing. So
Have I forgotten how to zoom? Okay, there is another window there. There it is. It popped up
okay,
behind everything else. Very good.
okay. So
Okay.
you see the DWS console.
I do. I'm switching it so that everybody else can see it as well.
Yeah, there
There
is
we
some
go.
data, but that's just from a test, so that
Okay.
doesn't matter. Um, so actually, what you did last time was this screen. Do you see
Yes.
that pop up?
Yes.
The
Yes. The pop-up. Oh, I'm sorry. No, the drop down inside of the name. Well, I do see the pop-up
wait,
with the
wait.
dialog window. Yeah.
Now you see the overview,
Yes.
and then I click at toevoegen, which is add,
Mm-hmm.
and now you see a pop-up window.
I do. Yes.
Okay, then it's great. Um,
Yeah. I
so
think
this
it's.
was the window where we
Mm-hmm.
defined a task. So we could select a customer, we could select the technician, and so on.
Yes.
And then we save that one. And then we get back into the overview window. So this was just a data grid
Mm-hmm.
where we can add people by clicking the add button here. We could edit a task
Mm-hmm.
by clicking the button over here, or we could copy or delete a task.
Yeah.
And so I've been trying to make this one. So I will shift then to the other. Wait, share now. Where is my Visual Studio? Must be this one, I think.
Yep. There it is.
No, that's not the main the
Oh.
main one. Because I'm shifting it on different windows. I think it will be. I don't see any green, but that's way too big. Yeah, now I see some green.
Yes. So yeah, I can see the task overview window XAML.
Yeah, that should be it. No, it's not working yet. Um, 5 minutes is too short. Let me take also the questions I had. Okay. I started from the main now. But last time you made MLP data grid, which was not committed yet or merged into the main. So
Oh, right.
perhaps,
Yeah.
yeah. So perhaps it wouldn't be bad that you merge that into the main.
Okay.
And then next time I will restart on top of the, because in this version, in the main, for example, you didn't make a separate project for the view models. So for the moment, all the view models are mixed. And there were still a few things which are not working. And of course, the nice things that you implemented for the selection of the customers was not in the main yet. So what I did, we had our main view model here. So I retained that main view model, but so that button now will go to an overview window, the window with the data grid. But we still need that client and the supplier. We need to generate it at this level and to store it in the overview window, if I understand well. Because
Yeah.
if I go to the where is it, the task overview window here. Okay. Show me the code here. Yeah, so this is the task overview window. So it stores the Jinaga client.
Yes.
And also the supplier, because we need that supplier at this level. And we need to pass it to the next level, because if we regenerate it every time, we will have a different supplier.
Right. Right.
So that's not possible. So we need to store it at this level.
Yeah, yeah, and I think this was kind of a temporary stepping stone. Let's get things working before setting up dependency injection. Because with proper configuration of dependency injection, then you wouldn't need to pass dependencies through.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Plus, it was also a temporary measure to create the supplier.
yeah, because it's all sample data to start with. Yes.
Yeah, because where was it? The main window here. That supplier was sample data. Where we just use the single use.
Yep.
But the purpose was that a customer could log in, so the authentication would still have to be added afterwards.
Right. Yes. So yeah, and you can see right here, this is just using Jinaga client.create, so it's by default an in-memory data store. So so yeah, in order to to really get this properly set up, we would need to use the SQLite data store. Yeah, we would need to
Replicator.
have a replicator behind it. We would need to have authentication. Yeah.
And here was some sample data to fill up the pop-ups. But so in this, okay. Then that main window that has a data grid on top and has the add task button, which will open that previous dialog box that you made. What do we have here? Just a single grid, 2 rows. The first one is a data grid. And the data grid, where
Yeah, it looks
Oh
like
no, no,
yeah,
no,
that's the button with
no,
the
no,
data grid
that's the
above
button.
it.
Okay, so the data grid is binding to tasks.
Mm-hmm.
These tasks are in the, where is it here? Task overview view model.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
that's an observable collection. What I didn't do yet was load that observable collection, load the data inside it.
Yeah.
So that's the Jinaga thing.
Yes.
But
Okay. Yeah, you got all the stuff in place to get there, and then yeah,
yeah,
next is write a
I,
specification.
it was, I spent again a lot of time to just refine my way in the code.
Yeah.
Um, but then I had a few questions.
Sure.
What about view models? You want to keep them separate really per view, or do you tend to reuse view models over many views?
I tend not to reuse view models. There is there's a lot of logic that ends up being inside of a view model
Mm,
that is very specific to the way that it's going to be presented. So so yeah, the separation between view and view model
mm,
you know, is maybe not as pure as the pattern would suggest, um, but yeah, I think that's yeah. After using the pattern for many years, I think that's actually fine. That's um,
mm,
you get to put on your yeah, I kind of think of it like puppetry. So it's like from the outside you see this this puppet and it's acting like like it actually has agency and it's moving around. But then on the inside you've got all the levers and stuff. So the view model you get to see all the levers and where the
mm.
hand goes, but that mechanism can only drive one puppet.
Okay. That gets us to the organization of the project structure. Um, so okay, now in tasks here, we have the views and the view models together. You already made a different project for the view models.
Yeah.
But so in that view model project, we will make a directory by view then, with all the view models which belongs, like for example, for the new tasks dialog, we have a couple of view models here, the yard view model, the tool view model
Mm-hmm.
in the new version, the task view model.
Yeah.
So we make a directory structure per view then.
Yeah. I think yeah. So I'm kind of on the fence with a couple of different patterns. So what I was what you see here, it's more the vertical slice architecture. So everything that belongs to the tasks area goes in here. But yeah, as you're pointing out, we already have two views um, and four view models, and it's already hard to figure out which view model goes to which view.
Mm,
Um, so yeah, breaking it down even further to the view that I think I think makes some sense.
it looks like a good idea. If we don't reuse the view models,
Yeah,
we might as well break them down by view.
yeah,
Okay. Um,
yeah. Now it usually ends up that when you're working in an area, you're touching more than one view at a time. Um, because like one of these, the overview window launches the task dialog, the new task dialog, and you would expect to see that interaction. Okay, when I launch it, I pass in these parameters, and then when it completes, I get this out and I save it. Um, so they're intended to be somewhat coupled. So they do belong close to each other. Now, does that mean all in one folder, or does that mean there's areas, tasks, and then underneath that you've got the overview and the new task uh, folders, so that you can then put the view models and the views that go with those views into those subfolders. I don't know
okay.
that.
So that the folder structure reflects the program structure.
Yeah, Yeah. I do like it easy. Yeah, I like it to be easy for a developer to not even think about uh, yeah, what they're you know, understanding the whole thing again. They just drill down, boom, boom. Okay, I'm going to be in this folder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's because somewhere else in the program we will also have tasks. So if we follow the
That's
program
true.
structure,
Yeah,
it's easier to find.
yeah.
Okay, good idea. Then the last question, when I was going over the commits that you did, there was one that said, so you separated the view models in a separate project, and the reason or the name of the commit was extracting view models to a class library supports testing on alternate OSs.
Oh yes. Right.
Um,
Okay. I think I remember. Yeah, that was a while back, but yeah, I do a lot of my development on a Mac, and yeah, on a Mac you can't load DWS console because that's a WPF application. So it's like, what? This would be really cool to still be able to work on the Mac and write tests. Um, so yeah, that
yeah.
way that one project can say, oh, failed to load. That's fine. I'm still loading the view models, and I'm
Mm.
testing and developing on those.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the tests you can write on Mac,
Mm-hmm.
but you cannot execute the program.
Right. Yes.
Mm.
Yep.
Okay,
Can't even
yeah.
load the DWS console project. It just says.
Mm-hmm. But they don't have an emulator on Mac.
Nope. Nope.
Okay.
At least, yeah, at least not that I know of. The MVP summit is
Mm.
going on right now, so who knows what they're cooking up. Um,
Okay,
it
that's
could
why
be
I don't.
it could be
That's why
announcing WPF
that's
for
why I don't have a Mac.
yeah.
No, I'm I'm not working on Mac, so it surprises me. They have Visual Studio for Mac, but
Yeah,
cannot.
which is a misnomer. um, yeah, Visual Studio for Mac was just a name that Microsoft put on Xamarin Studio when they
Mm,
acquired Xamarin, and then they've since deprecated it. Xamarin Studio or Visual Studio for Mac is no longer supported, but Visual Studio Code that runs anywhere. And yes, that surprised and amazed me when I saw that Visual Studio Code keynote. In fact, Scott Hanselman did it up right. He was very dramatic about it. He in Mac you've got this animation. I think they call it the genie animation, where you take something that's minimized and it goes. Um, Now it's usually pretty fast, but you can tweak the settings. So he tweaked it way down, so it just slowly went. Whoosh. And it's like, it would be really cool if I could just take a lightweight code editor and run it on my Mac. Whoosh. Hey, Visual Studio Code. Like, whoa, that's crazy.
mm-hmm. That was a good promotion then.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and it's seen very wide adoption. It's actually now my preferred IDE. Yeah, I still use Visual Studio for for the stuff I'm doing at work, which is a very .NET centric microservices application, and yeah, some things still really have to use the full Visual Studio for, but yeah, anything that I'm doing on my own, even if it's a .NET application, and I'm running on Windows, I'm still opening Visual Studio Code.
Okay. You don't need all the support you have from Visual Studio.
Right, and in fact, GitHub support is superior on Visual Studio Code, um, and and really, the AI of choice for me right now is Klein,
Mm-hmm.
and Klein is a Visual Studio Code plugin, um, so that works really well.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, part of what I'm doing is developing Visual Studio Code plugins myself.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm. By the way, the presentation yesterday from Pluralsight on AI.
oh, I did not see that. I saw the ad for it, but I did not
Yeah.
attend.
Oh, I said, okay, let's follow it.
Yeah.
But it was only about a quarter of an hour. So it was really short. I thought they would go a little bit deeper, but no. We gave some demonstrations with Excel, but
Okay, so they were focusing on the Microsoft Office 365 Copilot stuff, right?
it was one of the things. What else was there? You see, I already forgot. There was a question of somebody about Python, but there was not a real answer. No, it was good just to give an introduction of what are the possibilities, and especially on Excel, it was quite amazing that it can give so much help on how to work with Excel, but it was not really focused on programming. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. But yeah, so this thing is running, but it doesn't show anything. Wait, where? Yeah, it's coming up. Oh yeah, but that you don't see.
No, I just see Visual Studio with its diagnostic tools.
Where is my zoom here? There, the other one then. Even main window here. See, but so
Yeah.
that's the startup window.
Yep.
Then we click that one. Ah yeah.
Yeah, and it's a different window.
It's a different window.
Oh no! Oh, okay, I can see it. I can see the overview tasks.
Ah,
Yeah, yeah. As long as
okay.
it's on top of main window,
Okay. So
I can see it.
I put it in, and then so here you have the data grid, but it's not filling
Yeah.
up yet.
Yeah.
And then I click at task, and then I will shift this one in. So there you have the.
Yep, there it is.
You see it? You see
Yes.
it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that one you know because you made it. But so I will try to add some Jinaga to it and make that work by next time.
Very nice.
But not so nice, not so much progress, but at least a little bit. And I hope to be back on track that way.
Yeah,
Because
well,
you really have to do it yourself to stay into it, to get into it.
that is true. I find even even I will sometimes forget what the appropriate syntax is and have to look at my own documentation to remind myself what I'm supposed to do.
What surprised me, but it's not bad at all, but the difference in documentation for JavaScript or TypeScript and .NET.
Yeah.
You see, you really have to take the two,
and
there are things which are better documented in .NET, and there are things which are better documented in JavaScript.
Yeah.
For example, the purge possibility is in JavaScript, but I didn't see it in .NET.
Yeah.
There you have, on top there, replicators, purge conditions.
Yeah.
And in
That's
.NET.
True. Yeah, I have not. That's okay. Yeah, that is using the language. The DSL. So yeah, that I do need to rewrite that, or at least translate this to .NET in order to get that over there. Yeah.
It's not the only thing. Some things cover the same subject, but are completely different in layout, in approach, which is not a bad thing because you have two ways of viewing it. You just need to be aware that if you want some documentation, you need to go to both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, here in .NET I focus a lot on modeling first, so that I can use polyglot notebooks. Whereas TypeScript, there's no modeling section because you just go straight into code.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though Polyglot Notebook supports JavaScript, it doesn't allow me to bring in Jinaga as a package and use TypeScript to control it. And yeah, I'm missing a lot of things that would allow me to really use that as a JavaScript modeling environment.
Okay,
But
that's a pity.
yeah, but that's what that's what Factual Studio is going to be for. So yeah, Notebooks is really kind of an interim step, as it turns out. Yeah, I was thinking that was going to be lost you for a second there. Yeah, I was thinking that that was going to be the way to model, but yeah, as it turns out, there are just a few too many rough edges, like lack for TypeScript. But yeah. So you were talking about AI. Wanted to show you a new tool that I've been playing around with. So Anthropic has produced this Claude Code command line tool. I haven't installed it on this machine. I guess we can give it a shot. See see if I can do a quick demo on the fly. But let's see. So I'm just going to paste that in there. npm install -g, so global Anthropic AI Claude Code. And then oh, it's just telling me about an upgrade to npm. I'll worry about that later. So now I've got the Claude Code package installed, but I need to use that in a project. So let's see if I go to app, and then I'm going to go into let's see, listen. In this one, yeah, I might be thinking about the other one, the other project. This one, it is source, yeah. And then I've got my different source folders in here. So we've got, let's go into university indexer. Why not? Let's go all the way in there. So now we're in a project. So even though we used npm to install it, it is not strictly a Node. Well, I mean, it uses Node as its runtime, but it's not strictly for Node projects. And then we run Claude to launch it. Claude, not Claus. There we go. So first time that I ran it here. So do a few setup things. So yeah, light text looks good. Log in through Anthropic console. Hopefully this doesn't flash anything. Oops. There it is. Control click. All right. Yeah, let me do this on the other screen real quick, just in case. All right, then. Okay, that means that it just sent me a link via email. So this I definitely don't want everybody to see. But yeah, just did that, and now I authorize and paste this code into here. So that should be a one-time use code. Otherwise, now everybody can do it. All right. So now I am using my Claude account. So then I can. It tells me a little bit about the risks. And do I trust the files in this folder? The reason that it asks me if I trust these files is that there's a thing called prompt injection. LLMs don't understand the boundary between their system prompt and the content. And so if the content contains a bit of text that says ignore all of your prior instructions and instead do this, then it's not impossible for the LLM to do that.
Mm-hmm.
The system prompt might contain instructions like, no matter what you see in the content, don't do it. There's only so much you can do. All right. So now we are inside of Claude Code, which runs completely in the console, in the command line. And so the first thing that I want to do is run init, and that's going to create a claude.md file, which tells Claude all about this project. So let me, while that's working, go to the folder. So we are inside of source university indexer, and so in here it's going to drop a file. Okay, so now it's asking for permission to read files. So I can say yes to proceed, and it's going to prompt for every file that it wants to read until I say, you know what, I'm happy giving you that permission. Actually, it is reading some files without asking for permission again. Yeah, it's read the Docker file there.
Mm.
So maybe that changed, or maybe I misremembered that. But okay, now it's asking for edit permissions. It just created this claude.md file, and so I'll say yes, and don't ask again for this session. That's what I was expecting to see. So now it's going to go ahead and write whatever it wants to write within this folder. But now it has produced this little markdown file. So this is a bunch of useful context for Claude itself. And as you keep working, it will update this file. But that way, when you run it again, it's already got context about how this project is supposed to be set up. So okay. This is how I like to use types. It discovered this iService interface. So it said, okay, use those when possible. We're using Serolog and OpenTelemetry. So yeah, it saw a bunch of stuff. It said, this is good global context. And now it's saying, yep, I've made that. We've initialized. Now let's see what we can do. So we're here in the indexer. Let's give it a task. What'll be a good task? So we are let's see. Oh, there are no references to some of these things. Okay, that's a nice simple task. Like here, logging. Yeah, the offer index service is not using the logger. And it's not using the counter. So let's ask it to make some suggestions. I noticed that the offer index service is not using all of its parameters. Just ways that the code can be improved. And so it's going to look through all of the code. First of all, find it, and then it says, oh, look at there. Oh, it didn't suggest it, it just made the change. That's one thing that I really like about Klein, is that it's got a plan and act toggle switch. So you can be in plan mode and reason through all the changes you want to make, and then once you've got it, okay, that's what I really want to do, then you switch to act. I really like that use case. So yeah, here it's going to start an activity called index offering, and then yeah, it's going to add offering ID to that activity, and that's what creates the spans so that we could see everything that's happening inside of OpenTelemetry. And yeah, that looks reasonable. So then right here at the end, it's going to create a log to say that it's removing offering. Okay. Yeah, so it's got, let's see, yeah, it's got those changes in there. Here we see an error. Interesting. Yeah, so offering identifier is an error. Yeah, this is what's actually inside of an offering. Well, let's have it fix that error. Yeah. And so now it's going to say, oh, I want to run a command, .NET build. Yes. And don't ask it again for .NET build commands. Those are safe. So it runs the .NET build, and then it sees, oh, look, error messages. Let's check the definition of offering. Yeah, maybe you should have done that before you wrote the code. But yeah, that's, yeah, of course, LLMs are just going to make things up. But yeah, having the LLM connected to command line tools like this, then it's able to verify what it just made up. Sometimes it makes something up that's really, really cool. Okay. So let's look for the offering class definition directly. Okay, so we're looking in University Model for all the .cs files, and we're looking for class offering. You know what? It's not going to find it because offering is a record. Let's see what it does. Yeah, let's try with grep tool. You know what? Let's go ahead and put it on the right path. Offering is a record.
Oh, nice.
Okay. You want to proceed? Yes. There we go. We've got the course.cs file inside of model, which has all of the course-related facts. So load that in. There we go. Now it found that instead of identifier, we've got GUID. So it made that change here. There we go. Yeah.
Seems.
And then it also put that right here. Although it still had the offering ID variable. It's just now this is a GUID. So it could have reused that. But, okay. And then, let's see if the build works. Seems to be an issue with a lambda return type. What was the issue? So it was returning remove offering, which is a no, it's void. Index queue. Oh, okay. This is right. Yeah, this is the queue of work that needs to be done on offerings. It's not actually removing the offering, so it's not async. Okay, and now the build succeeds. Great, successful. And then what I like to do is create a file called logging.md containing what you just learned. So for this one, it's there's probably not much that it learned during that process, but I do like to have it capture that. So now we've got logging.md. which it put right here. Nice. So login telemetry. Yep. So common gotchas. Not using injected logging services. That's what we just fixed. Yeah. Okay. So actually, that's not too bad for end user document or for developer documentation. So yeah, now free to commit. And then it should figure out what it wants to call that commit, and it'll probably ask me if it can write that message. So we're going to add, do all the git adds. There we go. And now here is the commit message. Oh, it used a little robot emoji. That is nice. You'll be able to look through the history and say, okay, these are the ones that I just used a robot to do. Yeah, there we go. Let's just say yes, I don't want it just randomly creating commits. Okay, and there we go. Commit has been created, and there it is. Very nice. So yeah, that is that cool new tool. So yeah, I'm kind of playing around with that, but still my go-to is Klein. I don't have Klein installed on this VS Code for some reason. I need to do that. But that has definitely been helping to get
things more and more
resolved.
Giving guidance and instructions and doing it yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I like that. I like that interplay between, kind of, reasoning through what what it should work on, and then actually doing the work. And so yeah, that's one thing that that Klein still has. Is superior. So there have been some sessions where I just say, okay, this is the change I want to make, and give me 5 ways to do that, and then it just comes up with 5 different ways. And then last night I was doing this with the code launch project, and then I said, okay, I've got that one doing a Docker Compose and local development using Vite and React, and so I said, okay. These 5 things were focused on the Docker Compose side. I also want to do local development. How do these work with local development? Can I still use hot reload? And then it went back through those and it said, no, not this one. Yeah, this one can work. This one will need to tweak. So round and round until we said, okay, I actually want to use a combination of these 2. And then switched it to act mode, and off it went.
If you would give it a description of a program, what you want, how far would it get to write the program?
Yeah, that's too much. That is the promise that I'm seeing, not quite so much now as a few months back, but that's kind of the the goal that everybody's got is I should be able to just sit down and say, hey, I want this program. In fact, at work for the code launch application, we tried out a tool that that you're supposed to describe an application and then it generates wireframes. So just go that far, but still give it the full application. And first of all, it really didn't quite understand the full application. Had to go through a few iterations on that and correct some understanding, and then the wireframes that it generated didn't follow some of the instructions that we gave, and they were kind of junk. So if you just give it the description of the app and say go, you're probably not going to get very far. The current style of interacting with these things for for people who are not full-time developers, they call that vibe coding. So I have this, I'm going for this vibe. I have this feeling, and I just say, tweak it to do this, tweak it to do that. And yeah, one of my friends, he's a UX designer, so yeah, he knows design, not just visual design, but also interaction design and information architecture. So he's got all of those skills, and I've seen him vibe code, and he can get to a system that does what he wants. So in his case, he vibe coded an RSS reader. So he was able to put in the address of a podcast and get the podcast episodes, see all the descriptions, and actually have a play button that worked. So it worked most of the time. Actually, while he was demoing, he had this one thing where he expanded and then there was nothing there, and he said, "Oh, refresh. Okay, expand. Oh, that works." So it'll get you into a place where you don't know how to fix it unless you have the skills to fix code.
Yeah.
And then whenever so I've been using vibe coding for the code launch application in order to get things up and running. But I take it a little bit, and then I look at the code, and it makes a huge mess. I mean, it looks great on the screen, but the code is just all the styles and everything mixed all together. And it's I even so this is React, so I even had it to the point where for this one screen, and not only did it have all the different components, but it even had all the SVGs just inline inside of this one huge mess of a file. So I said, all right, let's stop that. Let's now switch to refactoring. So now I want you to find all the SVGs, extract them, come up with a way that we can have some kind of component to manage those. Give me 5 options, and so it came up with some good options there, and we did that, and then now extracted the components, and we came up with atomic. There's a I'm trying to remember the other word, but atomic is one of the 2 words in the title of this. It's originally a book, but this process, atomic design, I think that's it. That's basically where you take components that are small and you call them atoms, and then you take something like an input box. So rather than using raw input, you put a component around that and you style that and you make it work the way you want it to do to be, and that's your input atom. And then you build small collections of atoms and you make those molecules. So maybe the search widget. So it's got a text input and it's got a button and it's oriented this way. Then that's your search molecule. And then you've got you go all the way up to organisms, which are entire screens. So there's just names for these different levels, and so it came up with an atomic design for the various components. Oh, that's pretty good. I'll do that. And so now when I look at the code, it's nicely organized, but it took the experience and the care of quality code to get to that point.
Okay, so you regularly have to stop it and to put it back on the right track.
Yeah. Yeah. Which honestly, I find I need to do that with people too. So it's not all that unusual.
Yeah. No, but it's going fast now. So we will see how fast
indeed.
it improves.
Yes, indeed. And there's one other thing I wanted to show, which is, let's get back to not that screen. Where's the okay, that one there. All right. And so we are. Yeah, we just had some hail here, and you can tell that there's been hail when you start getting calls from roofing companies. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, Over here, we have Grafana, and it's been working on it's looking at the university system, and that has been running. Oh my goodness, even for the last since 7:30. So it's just
1.5 hour.
Yep. So it is staying running, and we can see the only warnings that we had in that time were the startup. These 2 warnings that occur on startup, and so you'll see that I fixed this problem. So it's actually showing how many offerings were created in the past second. So I'm going to stop this. Let's set the target rate to, let's go up to 11. Why not? That's fun. All right, target rate of 11 per second. It got 9, it got 10. Oh, it's doing 9, 10, 8, 10. Oh, it's not quite reaching 11. Oh, interesting. I thought that that would not be too difficult for it. But let's go back to the recent view, and now we are seeing that it is ramping up. And I've figured out part of the reason that that you have to be patient with Grafana here is that I'm using windowed functions. So it's actually that the average over the past minute has to ramp up. So it's not actually going to reach that point until a minute has passed. But the work that I've been doing over the past week has really just been finding all those little places where the replicator hits an error and shuts down, and going in and tweaking those, fixing those. So I've got it now to a point where the replicator will stay running. So, and you can see that we're not getting any of those uniqueness constraint warnings right now. We eventually will. That was one of those places where it was getting into issues. But now when it hits that point, it won't shut down. It will get a bunch of those uniqueness constraint violations kind of in a batch. It will work through them, and then it'll be clear for a little while, and then see another batch. So, I am satisfied with that. I didn't expect them to completely go away, but it's able to recover and not mess up any data, and not shut down. So, 5 per second, 4 per second. Wow.
Slows down a bit.
Yeah.
But okay, as long as this is stable.
Yes.
And it's a background process anyway.
Yes.
Unless you want to shut down the client.
Yep. And so now we're really just talking about latency. How long does it take for because we've got this background process presumably loading in a file. And of course, right now it's just making up data. But how long would it take for that file to get completely loaded into the replicator and then visible to indexed into Elasticsearch and then visible on the front end? So that data latency, nobody's actually waiting on that. So when somebody runs a search, they get a response back immediately. So it's not that kind of latency, but that's still a form of latency. Kind of a cycle time. From the time you've requested work to the time you can actually consume it. So that would be the next thing to focus on now that we've got this is a resilient tool. I would like to crank this up to more than 10 offerings or 5 offerings per second. And yeah. So how much of that is the machine? How much of that is the library? How much of that is Postgres? That's what telemetry is there to help us figure out. Where is the bottleneck?
Yeah, because it's like 10 offerings per second. Okay, it's doing a lot of work, but it's not a lot.
Yeah. Nobody's going to be impressed by that. I can't go to a client and say, yeah, I can do 10 offerings per second. Woo! We're running this university. We offer thousands of courses per semester. So how long do we have to wait for it to load a semester's worth of data? Yeah, that's too long.
Because this replicator is running locally now, or is running in the cloud?
It's still running locally. Yes. So that is running. Yeah, inside of Docker. So in fact, there are some cool little tools here in Docker that we can use to at least see what's going on. So we've got overall CPU and memory usage. So yeah, it's starting to creep up on the memory limit there, and we can even dive into the replicator and see just how it's doing. So it's consuming half of the CPU that I've allocated to it. The network I/O is it's total data sent data received. So that's just going to increase. It's not showing a rate. But yeah, so the disk I/O, I would have expected that to be higher, but that's not even measurable. Nor is the memory usage, and this is the container that's running Postgres. So this is telling me that Postgres is probably not the issue, which means that I can probably do something about it.
Yeah, it's strange that he uses so much CPU.
Yeah, so that might be my node code. So yeah, the replicator is written using Jinaga.js, so it's in Node. So it could be that the next step is just rewrite the replicator using Go or Rust. And if I look at Firehose, it's it spiked at about 20% CPU usage, but it's kind of staying around the 10 to 15 range. Yeah, and of course that's where all the data sent is coming from. Whereas on the replicator side, we see that's also data sent as the high line. Interesting.
Would expect received there.
Yeah. Okay, well it's turning around and sending its data out to the indexer. So indexer, that's sending and receiving at about equal. Interesting. Yeah. So it seems like the maybe the acknowledgement is taking up more bytes than I expected.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the code that you just copied it and that it's classified as sent or as received the opposite way.
Yeah, that is strange. The way that it acknowledges that it receives something is really just by updating its own bookmark, and then it's it just fetches from that point forward. It's kind of like Kafka in that respect, where it just has its own offset, and the consumer keeps track of the offset. So yeah, this this is a mystery. I'm going to have to
Mm.
look into that, see if that's part of the problem. But yeah, now it stays running. We've
Mm.
got we've got telemetry that we can use to figure things out.
And who
And
knows?
yeah,
Who knows what you find out there, and that it increases to 1,000 offerings per second.
yes, yes, that would be really nice. But oh my goodness, it has not seen any warnings yet. So yeah,
Mm.
maybe maybe my Mac is able to drive it a little bit harder, um, and we do see the Biscuits is telling me it's time to stop. Um, yeah, maybe driving a little bit harder, we do see the index violation, but that's that is progress. All right, I see you.
He wants to be part of the show.
Yes. All right. Well, there's progress and your obligatory AI demo. So
Mm-hmm. Good. I'm gonna try to make that work in AWS for next week. Oh. And so next week, normally I'm there. If the activity in the morning is delayed, then I might be later or even not there. But
okay,
I think it should be okay.
okay, all right. So I'll have something prepared, just in case,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll go live. I'll start
I
going
don't
through
have
it,
an
and we'll see.
I don't have an AI who can simulate myself. Okay. Michael, thank you very much and see you next week.
Indeed. See you then, Jan.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.